From the depot at Cleburne Station, we're glad you're with us. Championship Saturday of the 2017 Heartland Conference Baseball Tournament. Hello, everyone. I'm David Salzman alongside Logan Lawrence. One, maybe two games today to decide who takes home the tournament championship hardware. We have the 4 seed in St. Edwards and the 2 seed in Arkansas Fort Smith. Logan, St. Edwards 2-0. Therefore, they need to win just one game today to be able to be crowned Heartland Conference Tournament champs. Fort Smith must beat St. Edwards not once, but twice. So both teams wanting, of course, to win the tournament title, and at the same time, NCAA tournament hopes on the line for both these squads.
Absolutely. Both those teams on the bubble, 6 for Fort Smith, number 8 for St. Edwards. Both of them want to take it out of the committee's hands, I'm sure, and win the conference championship, get that automatic bid, and head to the regional. The Hilltoppers and the Lions. Hilltoppers, as you said, 2-0 in the tournament, able to go with a starter in Tanner Lawson, who has not pitched in this tournament. But the Lions coming back with Tyler Nelson, who pitched in game 1, the first game against the Hilltoppers. So going to be an excellent matchup.
Yeah, Tyler Nelson was knocked out early in that game against St. Edwards yesterday, a 10-5 Hilltopper victory, so he just threw over 40 pitches. Their head coach Todd Holland telling us that with much less wind today than what we experienced yesterday, he thinks Tyler Nelson will have a more effective performance, being a sinker-slider pitcher. For Tanner Lawson, as you mentioned, a lefty, and at the same time, his first appearance here at the Heartland Conference Tournament. Obviously, while St. Edwards wants to get this one and done, they have the advantage of knowing if they lose game 1, they can come back in game 2.
Absolutely. They did use their 2 starting pitchers, 1 and 2, in game 1, number 1, in Springer and Ballard Infante.
Right.
But Tanner Lawson was a weekend starter to start the season, so definitely the advantage for the Hilltoppers here with Nelson already pitching a game.
It's been a breakout season for Arkansas Fort Smith. Their 33 victories are the most they've ever had since joining Division II in July 2009. And for St. Edwards, just last week we weren't even sure if they'd be here. They had to sweep their opponent in Oklahoma Panhandle State the last weekend of the regular season, and then got some help just to get the 4 seed, and now they are in the driver's seat here at the Heartland Conference Tournament. Ready to get things underway with Tanner Lawson on the mound for St. Edwards, sophomore from Spring, Texas, and a transfer from the University of Houston. A 2-2 mark, sophomore ERA of 2.45. This is his 8th start of the season. 38 hits, 19 walks allowed in 44 innings, with an impressive 49 strikeouts. Logan Allen, first pitch swinging. The Fort Smith right fielder, and a ground out to third baseman Hunter Corson, on to the first baseman in Zach Schindler. Logan Allen again leading off for Fort Smith, followed by the shortstop Drew Duncan, who's coming to the plate, then the left fielder Dion Williams. Cleanup hitters, the first baseman Casey Cooper for the Lions, followed by the designated hitter Anthony Seminaris, and the center fielder Jace Pitchford. First pitch Lawson to the shortstop in Drew Duncan is high, and it's 1-0. Second baseman Brennan Dooley bats 7th for Fort Smith, followed by the catcher Dylan Hurt, the hero of last night's 14-inning win over Lubbock Christian 4-3. And then the third baseman Brandon Warner rounds out the starting 9 for the Lions under head coach Todd Holland in his 3rd season. 1-1 pitch from Lawson, fouled off to our right, and the count to Drew Duncan is 1-2. Sophomore batting .266 on the season, a slugging percentage of .284. 43 of his 45 hits are singles. He's also walked 15 times. Gable Whitaker, the catcher, is the battery mate for Tanner Lawson. Breaking ball, and it just missed outside. Infield for St. Edwards, I already know about the third baseman Hunter Corson, who has our first assist. Blake Alexander at short, Jacob Vasquez at second base, Zach Schindler at first, TJ Giesel back in left, William Hairston in center, Romeo Cortina in right. Duncan has worked the count full. And the Hilltoppers need one win today. Fort Smith needs to beat St. Edwards twice. Chopper. Waiting on it is Alexander, in a low throw, but a good scoop of it by Schindler. 2 away.
Well, a big hop is going to be a little difficult on this turf, but any short hop should be true, and Schindler is able to pick that one out for Alexander.
So here's Dion Williams, first team all-conference. Broke out a bid in that 14-inning win over Lubbock Christian last night with a couple of late hits. But here in Cleburne, Dion Williams is just 3 of 16. However, on the season, the junior from Kansas City, Missouri, is batting .342. The slugging percentage is .615. He has 30 extra base hits on the season, but none here in this tournament. On a hard hop and just in the outfield turf, there's Vasquez. 5-3, 6-3, and 4-3. The putouts in a 1-2-3 first for Tanner Lawson. Fort Smith nothing, and St. Edwards coming to bat, and they will face, as you mentioned, Logan, Tyler Nelson, who they saw yesterday. Senior from Bryant, Arkansas, 6-6 on the season, an ERA of 3.65. This is his 16th start of the year. 91 and a third innings pitched. He's allowed 87 hits and 24 walks with 78 strikeouts. He's also hit 11 batters. In the 10-5 loss to St. Edwards yesterday, Nelson went 2 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 7 runs. But again, as we mentioned in the open, with right now no wind to speak of, while yesterday a hard 20-25 mile per hour wind going from left to right, head coach Todd Holland thinks that Nelson will be more effective. He is definitely now a power pitcher, although those 78 strikeouts and 91 and a third, mainly from his location and his sinker-slider combination. Here's a lineup he'll face 1 through 9 for St. Edwards under their head coach Rob Penders in his 11th season. William Hairston's the center fielder leading off, followed by the second baseman Jacob Vasquez. The right fielder Romeo Cortina bats third, followed by the catcher Gable Whitaker. Batting fifth is the shortstop Blake Alexander, followed by one of the heroes offensively for this Hilltopper squad here in Cleburne, left fielder TJ Gieselbach. Third baseman Hunter Corson hits seventh, followed by the designated hitter Troy Anderson, and the first baseman Zach Schindler. Defensively for Fort Smith, Dylan Hurd is at catcher, Brandon Warner at third, Drew Duncan at short, Brennan Dooley at second, Casey Cooper at first, and in the outfield, Dion Williams in left, Jace Pitchford in center, Logan Allen is in right. Before we get this bottom of the first underway, I want to send our condolences to the Lawrence family. Courtney Lawrence is our second base umpire, and of course has been here all 3 days. His father passed away last night. Courtney has decided to stay, finish off the Heartland Conference tournament, and certainly, our condolences to him and his family. Our home plate umpire is Bill Powell, Jason Whitehead at first, and Gabe Chavez, our third base umpire. William Hairston fouls off the first offering from Nelson. He is 3 for 8 in this tournament with 3 runs scored. Junior from Dallas, transfer from Texas Tech on the season, batting .356. 1-1 the count.
And there you see that sinker from Nelson. Head coach Todd Holland said he had a hard time finding that pitch with that tailwind behind him.
Swing and a miss. He will also, as he did there, switch up his deliveries. Very slow windup, and then he'll hold the leg up on occasion before firing the pitch to the plate. But again, he'll switch it up. He won't do that always. He'll do it here. 1-2. Misses. That was a strike last night. Smaller strike zone so far from head coach, or home plate umpire rather, Bill Powell.
Yeah, Bill's been behind the plate once this tournament, and it definitely has a smaller strike zone than most of the other umpires.
Same play, so now it's a full count. Popped up, right side. Cooper giving it a run, but it's out of play. Into the berm here at the depot at Cleburne Station in Cleburne, Texas. We're a half hour plus southwest of Fort Worth. This is a brand new facility. It seats, well, permanent seating is 1,700, then a berm on both sides from the bases out to the outfield wall. Home of the Cleburne Railroaders of the American Association. Their inaugural season will begin next week. That's a strike 3 call, and Hairston's the first out of the bottom of the first.
Yeah, speaking with some administrators from the Cleburne Railroaders, and they brought to my attention, I thought that was a very big batter's eye in center field. He said that thing flips down and is a stage.
Huh.
You can kind of see the awning behind it that would be the acoustic background for a stage.
We were curious coming in as to the entertainment here in Cleburne, and how about that entertainment? Brandon Warner snagging the line drive off the bat of Jacob Vasquez.
Warner was playing in on the cut, almost on the grass there, or the green part of the turf, and able to still get up and get that one. Quick reaction.
Romeo Cortina has been great here in Cleburne and overall this season. Senior from Humble, one of 3 Sam Houston State transfers in this starting lineup. He is 5 for 9 with 5 runs batted in here at the tournament. For the season, 375 batting average, 447 on base percentage, slugging 620. His OPS is 1067 on the year. The most valuable player of the Heartland Conference tournament last season. Now quickly delivering. That pitch is low.
A shift in the wind today, now blowing slightly out to left field. Was blowing in from left last night and all of the day.
Up the middle, and Cortina has his 6th hit of the tournament, a 2-out single. He was vocal in the postgame press conference yesterday after St. Edwards defeated Fort Smith 10-5. He's one of the team's leaders, certainly one of the more vocal leaders, and said, all we've been talking about as a team, just play your role, don't overthink it, and do what you have to do to come away with the victory in the tournament championship. Here's Gable Whitaker, senior catcher for the Hilltoppers. First pitch strike. Senior from Austin, where of course St. Edwards is located, batting .362, 14 homers, 61 RBIs, slugging percentage of .730. Runner going to right. Few steps back for Allen, and he makes the grab. Cortina, a 2-out single. He's left in 3-1 on Championship Saturday of the Heartland Conference Baseball Tournament. We are scoreless. David Salzman, Logan Lawrence with you from the depot at Cleburne Station here in Cleburne, Texas. Fort Smith and St. Edwards. No score, top of the second. Tanner Lawson back on the bump for the Hilltoppers. Rob Penders raving before the game about his breaking ball. That can keep these Fort Smith hitters off balance. It's the first pitch strike to the cleanup hitter for the Lions, and Casey Cooper, who hit his 6th homer of the season in last night's 14-inning win, 4-3 over Lubbock Christian. Now 1-1. In fact, Rob Penders admitted that if Lubbock Christian was the opponent, that he might not have started Tanner Lawson, at least in this first game. Lubbock Christian, maybe the best in all the Heartland Conference against left-handed pitching. Fort Smith is solid. Lubbock Christian just a bit better. 2-1 now the count.
You wonder if he were to go back to Ballard Infante, who only couldn't get out of the first inning against Lubbock Christian.
2-1 is hit sky high. Vasquez hauls it in. 4 up, 4 down so far for Lawson. Yeah, to your point, the reason why there was a question over who would start is because St. Edwards used their 3 weekend starters in their first 2 games. Ballard and Fane just went 2/3 of an inning back on Thursday against Lubbock Christian. Walked 4 in 2/3 of an innings and was yanked. Stuart Springer, the usual Game 2 starter, came out in relief, pitched 3 in the third, gave up 5 runs. Anthony Seminaris, that's a tap foul off his foot, so an 0-2 count to the Fort Smith designated hitter, who's batting .265 with a homer and 32 RBIs. And so completing the thought, Brandon Boone, usual Game 3 starter, pitched in St. Edward's second game yesterday. But that's why, as you said, Ballard and Fane is definitely available, just going 2/3 of an inning 2 days ago. Stays fair. Corson stays back on it. Quick throw is over the head of Zach Schindler. Trying to advance to second. Seminaris. There's the throw. There's the tag. Schindler to Alexander.
Well, that's the first overthrow that we've seen here in this tournament at first base. You don't know how that ball is going to ricochet off of the railing down the right field line. That one came right back to Schindler, and he's able to get it and get Seminaris at second.
So the base is empty now with 2 away. Here's Jace Pitchford, junior from Poteau, Oklahoma. Batting .252, 6 homers, 16 doubles. If you're wondering about the scoring, that's ruled an E5. Then Seminaris out trying to extend it to second base. 2-0 the count. Ripped but foul.
So would that be a 5-3-6 put out? Give Corson an assist on that as well.
It'd be 5. What do you count the boundary here? Because it bounced off the wall just beyond the St. Edwards dugout. 5 stadium 3-6.
Yeah, I don't think Corson gets a credit for an assist there.
No.
So probably just a 3-6 trying to advance.
That was going to be a tough play at first anyway. 3-1, lofted to left but won't carry. Gieselbach, and that'll do it in the top of the second for Fort Smith. Still no score through an inning and a half at the Heartland Conference Baseball Tournament. No score, bottom of the second inning. This is a St. Edward's team, 22 runs in their 2 wins leading up to championship Saturday. 12-8 over Lubbock Christian, 10-5 yesterday over Fort Smith. A team that finished the regular season 14-10 in the Heartland. A game ahead of Oklahoma Christian. Came in as the 4th seed, and the top seed right now because they just need to win once. Chopper off the bat of Blake Alexander. And Warner's there. Off to Cooper, 5-3 the putout. In the 10-5 victory, and as we mentioned, Tyler Nelson started. St. Edwards didn't get a run across in the first and then exploded for 4 in the second, 3 in the third to chase Nelson. T.J. Gieselbach first pitch swinging to the shortstop Duncan. 2 quick outs. Big key in chasing Nelson yesterday was the ability for St. Edwards to hit the ball the opposite way, and Rob Pender is telling us before the game that that's certainly the strategy he wants his hitters to utilize, waiting back on that sinker slider we talked about and just trying to hit it where they ain't in right field. Hunter Corson, he has a 20-game streak of reaching base, St. Edward's third baseman. Batting .327 coming in, on-base percentage .397. Count to Corson is 2-0, senior from Garland, Texas, in the Dallas area. Takes the 2-0 for a strike of the belt. For the tournament here, Corson 3 for 8, couple of RBIs. Off speed and high.
Well, so far here in the early going, Nelson working low in the zone, getting ground balls. That sinkers seems to be working as well.
That's a walk, and for the second straight inning, Hilltoppers have a runner on board with 2 away. This, of course, one of 3 conferences in the South Central region. Lone Star Conference Championship Saturday begins at 1. Host Angelo State needs 2 wins over West Texas A&M, the 3 seed. West Texas just needs to beat the Rams once. And then at the RMAC in Grand Junction, Colorado, they'll start at 2 Central. Top seed Colorado Mesa needs just 1 win over the Colorado School of Mines. Troy Anderson, the designated hitter. Big 3-run homer off of Tyler Nelson in the second inning yesterday that gave St. Ed's a 4-1 lead they would not relinquish. It was 7-1 at one point. Fort Smith then put up 4 in the 4th to make it 7-5. That's as many runs as they'd score. It's a 2-0 count to Anderson, who's taking advantage, Logan, of his new opportunity, starting .406 batting average.
Some may say it's a surprise of the tournament, but to his teammates, not a surprise. A consummate teammate. He's caught, he's pitched, he's DH'd. He's done everything that's been asked of him.
Strike call. For the season, 13 for 32, 8 runs scored. That home run yesterday, the first of the season for Anderson, who's 5 for 9 here in Cleburne.
First of his career.
Strike on the outside corner. 2-2 now. Time called just before the delivery.
You see, when Nelson has a runner on base, he's going to the slide step, maybe getting out of his rhythm that he has on other pitches.
Short lead off first for Corson. Base hit again for Anderson. Corson to second. First and second, 2 outs.
I tell you what, he's just got it working this tournament. That pitch out probably a ball or two off the plate, and he's able to pull it out in left center field, just wrap the bat around it.
So now Zach Schindler playing at first base in this game for the Hilltoppers. Redshirt freshman from Katy, just west of Houston. Batting .239, on-base percentage of .316 with 2 home runs. Hilltoppers looking to get on the board first. They could with a base hit here and 2 outs. Strike call on a fastball. Hilltoppers winners of 10 of 11 coming into this one. Miss low. Fort Smith mentioned already their best season as an NCAA Division II member. 33 wins, their most since joining D2. Heck of a job by head coach Todd Holland and staff. Tough take, but it's a strike of the outside corner.
Now that zone opens up a little bit there. That ball definitely off of the plate, but Nelson gets the call.
So now 1-2 to Schindler. Dribbler right side. And 3 unassisted for Cooper. Nelson gets out of the jam. Hilltoppers have left 3 on through 2. No score as we head to the 3rd. David Salzman, Logan Lawrence with you from the depot at Cleburne Station, Cleburne, Texas. No score, Fort Smith and St. Edwards. We've had 4 really good head coaches here representing their teams here in Cleburne. I would say, though, and I don't think the other 3 would find this with any disrespect, the most entertaining has been Fort Smith head coach Todd Holland. He's in the third base coach's box. I don't think you can see him on your screen. He has... of course, the regular pants, and then just wears the T-shirt, and not just a batting helmet when he's in the third base coach's box. He doesn't take that off all game.
Well, he's very animated. He's very opinionated. He keeps things light. I'm sure his team has a good time when they play baseball. So.
0-2 count to Brendan Dooley, the Fort Smith second baseman, batting .277, and couldn't hold back. Strikeout for Tanner Lawson's his first, who still has faced the minimum through 2 1/3. In fact, that looseness reflects off his team. They've been the loosest bunch here. And at one point in the 14-inning win last night against Lubbock Christian, Todd Holland began the game as the third base coach, then took an inning off. And he actually said in the postgame press conference, he said, I fired myself. But that's also a strategy to keep his team loose because he's changing that up. Then the next inning, he went to first base. He was the first base coach for an inning, and then went across to third for the last couple.
I think he said he just wanted an opportunity to talk to first base umpire Ned Davenport.
He's talked to them all. Dylan Hurd, who had the game-winning hit in that 14-inning affair last night, which went about 25 feet down the first base line, and it was enough to score the winning run. The bases were loaded at the time. Hurd is just a freshman and has had a tremendous tournament. Swings away, and this will be foul over to our right. Now, he's hitting 200 on the season, but here in Cleburne, 5 for 10, batting .500 with 2 walks. An on-base percentage is .615. He's been hit by a pitch as well. 4 runs batted in.
Yeah, that hit last night was just perfect placement.
2-1 from Lawson. He shows bunt. Goes foul. Now, we saw that from Hurd a couple of times prior here in Cleburne. The quick bunt not allowed him to reach base.
Actually had an infield bunt single against St. Edwards yesterday.
Right. This Fort Smith team, Todd Holland will say, he admits to us, he says he feels he overcoached these guys. We talk how loose they are here. He says they're pretty tight the first 2 months. They struggled through February and March, then took a 9-hour bus ride to Canyon, had 2 huge wins at West Texas A&M, who was number 3 in the nation at the time. Coach Holland says from there was a loose, fun ride back, and he realized, I need to let my guys just be themselves. And since then, in April and here in May, they've been one of the best teams in the region for sure. Swung on. Pitch was in the turf, but Whitaker is able to tag out Hurt, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Lawson.
It's funny how you get the best results from a team that's just having fun. That's what baseball is. It's fun. Takes all the pressure off.
Well, he also says that that's a big reason why they've been so resilient here. Even in the loss to St. Edwards yesterday, they were down 7-1, and then boom, a 4-run fourth. They're right back in it, although they wound up losing. Down 3-0 through 6.5 last night to Lubbock Christian, or 5.5 rather. 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 8th to tie, and then winning it in 14. Brandon Warner, third baseman for the Lions, batting .227, on-base percentage of .312.
Two straight batters trying to lay down a bunt here. Maybe they see something. They're going to try to make Lawson field his position.
Chopper to short. Alexander. Tanner Lawson, the minimum through 3. And the only player who was reached was on an error. Still no score through 2.5 on Championship Saturday. Bottom of the third, no score. St. Edwards and Arkansas Fort Smith. UAFS has to win this game and then win a second game against the Hilltoppers today to become Heartland Conference Tournament champs. Hilltoppers just have to win one, whether it's this game or the next, if Fort Smith can force it. William Hairston, top of the order, struck out looking his first time. First pitch ball.
You talked about Nelson mixing up his delivery there. He paused a lot and then did a slide step home. Now you see the double take there.
1-1. Tyler Nelson looks smoother, more confident than that start yesterday when Hilltoppers got him for 7 runs and 2 2/3. Hairston waves at a pitch outside, 1-2. By a diving Warner into left. A leadoff single for Hairston. First time Hilltoppers have been able to get the leadoff man on. In fact, all their base runners up to that point on with 2 outs.
Well, and Harrison there, he went outside, and Harrison chased the pitch before his single That one he tried to come back inside, but Harrison able to throw the hands and get him out there quick. We talked about how they keep it light in the Fort Smith dugout. One of the players over there with a unique hat. I don't know exactly what some type of crown or.
Oh, there it is. It looks like it's a bunch of playing cards taped together. That's the rally cap, I imagine. Even early in a game. You know, we're about to talk to Fort Smith Athletic Director Curtis Jans at the top of the fourth. He's the chairman of the Heartland Conference Tournament Committee. I bet you he has the answer. I think that's cups and not playing cards. A little hard to see from here.
Bunch of red Solo cups.
Jacob Vasquez lined out his first time up. First pitch strike.
Yeah, great play by the third baseman, Brandon Warner there, who was playing up, able to get up and get that ball. It would have been a double for Vasquez more than likely.
3 hits in the game, all by St. Ed's. Won't carry, left center. Catch made by Pitchford, 1 out. So I think all of us feel, despite being ranked 8th in the region coming in, Hilltoppers have to win this tournament to get into the NCAAs. If they don't win this tournament, that means they'd lose 2 today. Fort Smith, well, they are right on that line. Ranked 6th in the region coming in. They've made it to championship Saturday. Team ranked 5th, A&M Kingsville, 2 and out at the Lone Star tournament and losing their last 6 overall. Runner going. Good throw to second. Tag applied. Hairston caught stealing. We have seen that arm from Dylan Hurt all tournament. There was a first pitch strike to Romeo Cortina. He picked up his 6th hit here in Cleburne, his first time up. Now the base is empty, 2 outs.
That's the second time that Hurt has thrown out Harrison. Harrison was thrown out to third yesterday when the 2 teams met.
One, 2. So if St. Ed's is to win, of course, they get an automatic berth to the tournament. And as we think, Angelo State, West Texas A&M, Colorado Mesa, Lubbock Christian probably are in already. Now you have the Fort Smith A&M Kingsville debate. We think for that 6th and final spot. Of course, Lions want to win 2 here today and not have it be a question. Tarleton State ranked 7th in the region but did not qualify for the Lone Star Conference tournament. Could get in, yes, but would be tough to see. To right, carrying a bit, but Allen is under it. That'll do it for the Hilltoppers in the third. Leadoff single by William Hairston, but he's caught stealing. Scoreless through 3 with Fort Smith Athletic Director Curtis Jans joining us in just a minute. And welcome back to the Depot at Cleburne Station here in Cleburne, Texas. No score. Fort Smith St. Edwards, top of the fourth coming up. David Salzman alongside Director of Athletics for the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith, Curtis Jans. And thanks for being with us. Congrats to how your team's performed so far.
Yeah, it's been a fun weekend.
Well, again, Fort Smith looking for the tournament title. They need 2 wins over St. Edwards. Hilltoppers just need 1. It's a first pitch strike to Logan Allen as Tanner Lawson, hurler for the Hilltoppers, has faced the minimum through 3. First year to have this tournament, of course, here in Cleburne. Your take on the overall experience?
Yeah, it's been a great venue. Cleburne's I think it's a perfect place. We've had a great experience. I believe all the coaches have been extremely happy. This is something we've been working towards for a couple of years, trying to get a neutral site tournament for our conference tournament. And this is just a beautiful stadium.
1-2 is the count to Logan Allen. And that is ripped to left and carrying, and your team has a 1-0 lead on the solo homer by Logan Allen.
Yeah, maybe I need to stay on for a while.
This has been a fun group to watch. It's a great mix of veterans and youth, including the freshman of the year in the conference, and Allen, who put your team up.
Well, he's had a phenomenal year. You know, that we have 3 young kids from Bryant High School in Arkansas, Logan, and then our freshman catcher, Dylan Hurt, and then our sophomore third baseman, Brandon Warner. And it just has been a great program there in Arkansas. And then Dylan and Logan have had great freshman years.
Drew Duncan, first pitch swinging by the Fort Smith shortstop. Fly out to right is 1 away. So we talked to Heartland Conference Commissioner Tony Stigliano, who said he's fine with the tournament coming back here in future years. A little longer drive for you than maybe some of the other schools here, but your thought overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5.5-hour drive from Fort Smith. Truthfully, if we're totally honest, if Lubbock won the conference this year, if they would have hosted the conference tournament, that's a lot further than 5.5 hours from Fort Smith. So it's a real centrally located.
Dion Williams, a single with 1 away. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a real centrally located area here, it really gives the kids a big time feel, and I think that's so important. A lot of these kids this will be it for them. This will be their last college experience, and I believe that they're going to remember this well.
So you're the chairman of the Heartland Conference Tournament Committee. If you don't mind explaining what exactly that job entails.
It entails anything that Brandon and Tony tell me to do.
Brandon Tripp's the Heartland Conference Sports Information Director.
Yeah, I'm here, and truly it's a service role. All 4 of these teams have played a long, hard season, and they deserve a good experience. And really that's how I look at my role here, is just to do what I can to help these student-athletes have a good experience.
Casey Cooper with a big home run last night. The runner on first and 1 away. First pitch strike. So Logan and I have talked about your team situation. Now, obviously, you want to win 2 here and take it out of the committee's hands. But if St. Edwards is to take home the tournament crown, you're right there for an at-large berth. Tell us why your Lions should still get in.
Well, I don't know the exact numbers right now, but if you look at our last 30 games, we have at one time I think we had won 23 out of our last 30. We're hot. We've played extremely well against good teams, as we have.
That's a beautiful diving stop by Corson, and throw to first in time that might have saved a run. Williams goes over to second. Heck of a play.
That was good. Great defensive play. We beat Lubbock 3 out of 4. We beat West Texas at West Texas 2 out of 3. We've really played well down the stretch. I think that if you look at our region, we're right there on the bubble. I do think it's important how you finish the year. I think that the big question is for the regional committee is does the Heartland deserve to have half the field?
It's never happened, right?
I don't believe so. And but Heartland baseball is really good, and I think that I mean, if you ask me, I think we deserve to be in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's obviously what I'm supposed to say. But I really think we've earned it on the field. We started off struggling, and we played a great schedule. Every single game we played this year was against Division II competition, and but we found ourselves. And when we found ourselves, we got hot, and we've remained hot. And I think this team has earned their way into the region.
1-1 count to Anthony Seminaris, the designated hitter. Now count 1-2. By the way, 3 Heartland teams did make it in 2010, I'm told. Your third-year head coach is Todd Holland. Just describe him and the job he's done with this baseball program.
This year, this is my first year at Fort Smith also, and but last year they had a tough year. Didn't make the tournament. And this year we have a young team, and they started off struggling a bit, but he really was patient, really built a team, and these guys really care for each other. And I think last night against Lubbock, they're battling in the 14th inning, and give Lubbock a lot of credit too. They were right there with us, but it would have been easy coming off a loss to let that one slip away, and they just were tough. I think Nelson's a good example of that with the way was not very good yesterday, and has come back, and he's. I don't think we have a lot of great players. I think we have guys that are playing great. And I think there's a difference.
Well, regardless of what happens today, hope you get in. Thanks so much for joining us.
You.
Curtis Jans, Athletics Director at Arkansas Fort Smith, head of the Heartland Conference Tournament Committee. Solo shot by Logan Allen puts Fort Smith on the board. Could have been more for the Lions if not for the great defensive play by Hunter Corson off the bat of Casey Cooper. 1-0 Fort Smith through 3.5. And welcome back to the Depot at Cleburne Station. Logan Lawrence rejoins me, and thanks again to Director of Athletics at Arkansas Fort Smith, Curtis Jans, for joining us, giving us his insight on this tournament and on this Fort Smith team, which has a 1-0 lead. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, Gable Whitaker 0 for 1 in the contest, an 0-1 count to the St. Edward's catcher. So after facing the minimum through 3, Fort Smith solving Tanner Lawson with that solo shot, the single by Dion Williams, and what a play by Hunter Corson on that shot down the third base line by Casey Cooper. Williams likely would have scored from first if Corson was unable to snag that baseball.
That shot by Logan Allen to put the lines up 1-0. The freshman has come to play here at the Heartland Conference Tournament, proving why he's the freshman of the year in the Heartland Conference.
Yep, and that was his 5th home run of the season to put Fort Smith on top. To short, Duncan. 1 away.
So the wind has died down. Absolutely, the flags are not moving at all. Saw the Hilltoppers against Tyler Nelson yesterday going the other way with the ball. So far, they've kind of gone away from that with the wind died down. And it got a lot of ground ball outs.
That homer by Logan Allen over the left field wall might have just been a deep out to left center yesterday with that wind blowing so hard from left to right. Blake Alexander, first pitch strike. Alexander 3 for 9, 4 runs scored here in Cleburne. 3 runs batted in. 0 for 1 today. Strike on the outside corner. His location's been awfully good so far.
Absolutely. He's keeping the ball down today. I don't think he was able to do that against the Hilltoppers yesterday, and obviously different results here on Saturday.
to right. Allen having to backpedal, but makes the grab at the track. If Fort Smith wins, well, 45 minutes between games and then get things underway for what will be do or die for both these teams. Hilltoppers, 22 runs, first 2 games. A lot of crooked numbers in those first 2 wins. Tyler Nelson has held them in check. And a lot of first pitch strikes, including that one to TJ Gieselbach.
Absolutely. You get ahead in the count. You have the advantage, and he's
having to charge is Dooley. 1-2-3 inning, the first for Tyler Nelson. Still 1-0 Lions through 4. Fort Smith looking for some insurance here in the 5th. 1-0 the score. Tanner Lawson on for his 5th inning of work. Lawson pitched in relief in the regular season series against Fort Smith and struggled, in fact, in the one win for Fort Smith, 7-2, where Tyler Nelson started. Lawson allowed 3 of 4 batters to reach base. Cruising through the first 3, ran into trouble in the 4th. Solo homer to Logan Allen, our only run so far. Center fielder Jace Pitchford, a 1-0 count. Now 1-1. Pitchford 3 for 15 here at the tournament. That just missed the outside corner. From short. 1 away.
Well, the mistake to Allen, besides that, Tanner Lawson's throwing a heck of a game. He's only given up 2 hits.
You would think if you play a 14-inning game last night, your pitching staff would be perhaps in shambles. That's not the case. They only used Fort Smith 2 pitchers, including Nick Yawning, 8 2/3 innings of relief, and did not allow a run. He got the win. He said after the game last night, he said, I had no idea how much I threw. But then he said, that was definitely the most I've ever pitched in an appearance. 0-1 off the bat of Brennan Dooley.
And all that from a guy who was just a third baseman last year, not pitcher.
But just using 2 pitchers in their victory last night in 14 innings, 4-3. They did use 6 in that 10-5 loss to St. Edwards yesterday afternoon, but no one going more than 2 2/3. And, of course, that was Tyler Nelson, who struggled in that start. Not the case so far here today, as Dylan Hurt takes the first pitch ball. Right into the glove of Hunter Corson. So Lawson comes back. He's faced the minimum 4 of 5 innings, but halfway through, Lions still up 1-0. St. Edward's looking to break through against Tyler Nelson, who has been solid so far, just allowing 3 singles and a walk in his second start of this Heartland Conference baseball tournament. Hunter Corson to lead off, followed by Troy Anderson and then Zach Schindler. Both Corson and Anderson reached base in the second off Nelson, but with 2 outs. Now the first pitch to the third baseman Corson is a strike.
St. Edward's the home team in this first championship game. If there were a second championship game, the Lions would be the home team. And some funny rules that they have to decide who the home team is. First day, it's obviously the higher seed, but after that, depends on how many times you've been the home team. And in this case, the Lions would be the home team in the second game because they've been visitor more times. They've been it twice. St. Edward's only once.
So they don't just flip a coin.
They do when the first 3 rules do not decide who is home, then they flip a coin, which they did for the Lubbock-Fort Smith game last night.
2-1 the count to Corson. Now 3-1.
And Fort Smith won that coin flip. They decided to be home team, and they get a choice of the dugout, and they said, we're getting out of this first base dugout. We're going to third. That superstition coming back in for head coach Todd Holland.
3-1 floats in high, and Corson has walked twice, but this time a leadoff walk to begin the bottom of the 5th.
And Troy Anderson has another opportunity with runners on base.
And he's been one of the heroes this tournament. He is 6 for 10, including a single in the second inning. So we've seen this situation often be a bunting situation, of course, but with Anderson hitting the ball so well, let's see what it does. Not showing bunt and taking a ball outside.
You do have the 9-hole hitter on deck in Zach Schindler.
Corson 5 for 5 on stolen base attempts this season. However, Anderson hitting the ball so well, do you take a chance sending him? Not here, and Anderson gets a piece. He was upset at that. He pulled the trigger and realized that pitch was going to be low.
Yeah, he was definitely out in front of it there. Not his best swing on the ball he's done in this tournament.
Junior from Bridgeport, West Virginia, awaits the 1-2. Oh, called strike 3. Anderson backed off. Bill Powell says that tagged the inside corner. And that's a big first out for Tyler Nelson.
Well, as much as Anderson was crowding the plate, it might have tagged the inside corner and almost tagged him as well.
Mm-hmm. So now Zach Schindler, 3 unassisted ground out his first time up. Came in batting .239. To right center. Allen able to get there. 2 away. When St. Edwards has scored, they've scored in bunches in their win over Fort Smith yesterday. 4 in the second, 3 in the third, 3 in the fifth for all their runs. And they're come from behind 12-8 win over Lubbock Christian Thursday afternoon. 3 in the first, 5 in the seventh, 2 more in the 8th.
And that's a bit of a change from the normal St. Edwards team that Coach Penders has put on the field his first handful of years. He came from the Augie Garrido style of playing with bunting runners over, playing for the scoring every inning rather than in bunches. You've seen that change the last few years with the likes of J.D. Arrowwood and the boys that can just put it out of the park.
To second, Dooley. And after the leadoff walk, Tyler Nelson holds firm. 1-0 Lions through 5. Struggle for these hitters so far. And what could be the only game of Championship Saturday, but perhaps one of two. Fort Smith, who needs to win this game to force the second and final game of this tournament later today. A 1-0 lead on the strength of a Logan Allen solo homer in the fourth. He is in the on-deck circle. Brandon Warner, the Fort Smith third baseman, leads it off. First pitch strike. Tanner Lawson looking good. Despite giving up that solo shot, he's just allowed 2 hits and has not walked anyone. Took something off, and it's 0-2.
Well, you alluded to the Hilltoppers scoring in bunches this tournament. As I said, they kind of went away from the small ball attitude that they've had the first 5 or 6 seasons Penders was here, and have gone to more of extra base hits, trying to put the ball out of the ballpark and score in bunches. And some of that can be attributed to the regional being hosted in Colorado for the last 3 years.
Bit of light air over there. Big run, and yet able to get to it is Cortino. One away.
Because the first year that it was held in Grand Junction, they still did play the small ball, and in that thin air, you got to score a lot of runs. Mm-hmm. And so, therefore, it might not have been the best strategy in that. In the last 2 years, the Hilltoppers have fared a lot better in the thin air of Colorado at the regional.
For the season coming in, St. Edward's 51 home runs. The homer by this man at the plate, Logan Allen, was just the 16th allowed by Hilltopper pitching. We've said this for 3 days now. You look at the Hilltopper stats and you wonder how they needed the last weekend of the regular season just to get here as the 4th seed. Second best batting average in the conference. Best ERA in the conference and 5th best in the nation coming in. As it stands, or at least coming into this game, team ERA of 2.96, opponent ERA an even 7. 0-2 the count to Allen.
Part of that due to the 63 unearned runs this year.
True.
Hilltopper defense has definitely improved towards the end of the season, hence the 10 out of 11 wins.
Right, especially in non-conference play. It was a struggle. Good job, Allen, fighting off a couple of balls, and now it's still 1-2. Towards the line, Cortina gets there and makes the grab in the area where it just starts to have very little foul territory. No, you can't see it on your screen, but the berm jets out towards that right field line as it approaches the outfield wall. Cortina was right next to where that berm jets out as he made the catch.
If you've been to a Major League game or seen one on TV, it's about right at the location where the ball boy or ball girl would sit, security guard as well, kind of that area right there halfway down the right field line.
Drew Duncan, a 1 count to the Fort Smith shortstop, who is 0 for 2 so far in this game. Just 2 of 16 here in Cleburne, and about to be 2 of 17. Corson over to Schindler, and for the 5th time in 6 innings, Tanner Lawson faces the minimum. Still 1-0, his team trails. St. Edward's still trying to break through against Tyler Nelson, who's been much better today than yesterday. If you're just joining us, head coach Rob Holland telling us reason why he's using Nelson again today against St. Edward's is that the wind has died down considerably, which helps a sinker slider pitcher such as Nelson. That ball, though, ripped off the bat of Jacob Vasquez. And it's a leadoff single for the Hilltoppers here in the 6th.
I'll tell you what, Vasquez is really seeing the ball well today. He was robbed by Warner in the first inning of an eventual double, but able to get that one over Warner and out into left field for a leadoff single.
Third time the Hilltoppers have had the leadoff man on. Now, Nelson got the win for Fort Smith in Austin against St. Edwards in the regular season, preventing the Hilltoppers sweep, and he was excellent. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. And what confidence Todd Holland has in this young man, bringing him back out there today after his struggles yesterday, but again in different conditions. Here's Romeo Cortino, 1 for 2 with a single. Showing bunt, but bunts it back foul.
So after not bunting the runner over last inning after the leadoff walk, Coach Penders, don't know if that was an actual sack bunt. Could have been a drag bunt try there by Cortina. He does have good speed.
Now, Cortina's been hot at the plate, but so has the man on deck in Gable Whitaker, although he's over 2 against Nelson today. Not showing bunt here to the right field corner, but Allen under it makes the grab, and no tag attempt. Vasquez actually had to go back a few steps to first, and really no way to make that tag attempt anyway, although Allen fired a good dart to second base. Gable Whitaker, 0 for 2 today, 3 for 9 in the tournament. Hilltoppers' 3rd game here in Cleburne, Fort Smith's 4th. Vasquez back.
Whitaker leads the Heartland Conference with 14 home runs. And for the ones that I've seen him hit in Austin, the majority of them have been no doubters.
And the pitch. 1-0. Vasquez, 7 stolen bases in 8 attempts. Rob Pender's not afraid to send his guys. Coming into Cleburne, 55 stolen bases, and they have 2 here at the tournament, although they've been caught stealing 3 times. Interesting here, 2-0 count. See if Whitaker has the green light. Man with 14 home runs, you'd think so. To right center, that's trouble, and that'll drop and roll to the wall on his horse Vasquez, being sent home around third, and Dooley slips as he makes the catch in right center field. Vasquez scores, and Whitaker with an RBI double to tie things up.
Allen did a good job of cutting that ball off before it got to the wall, but the throw in, I don't think Vasquez would have been caught at home because he was definitely on his horse, and that ties the game.
1-1 here on Championship Saturday. And for all Whitaker has done here in Cleburne, that's his first run batted in of the tournament. 62nd on the year.
And see, that right there is the improvement since his freshman year. He does have the 14 home runs, but Nelson not giving him anything inside, and he goes with it to right center to drive in the run.
Quick conference on the mound before Blake Alexander steps to the plate. Alexander 0 for 2. And just about all these Hilltopper hitters have had a great tournament coming in. 22 runs in 2 games will do that. Alexander's 3 for 10 with 2 walks. And now Nelson having trouble getting ahead in counts. He's been brilliant at that before this inning. 2-0. There is activity in the Fort Smith pen. Three 3-0 now to Alexander, with TJ Gieselbach on deck.
Number 35, Corbin Polly, warming up. And also, last night's starter, Evan Dodd, lightly tossing.
Evan Dodd went 5 1/3 last night. That's a strike. If you're wondering what that noise is in the background, that is a number of the St. Edwards players with the monkey chant. Imagine that's their way of the rally monkey here. They have rallied to tie here in the 6th. They're looking for more with 1 out. Stays fair for Warner. Long throw and a good job by Cooper to keep his back foot on the bag. 2 away. Whitaker holds at second.
It's actually number 15, Nolan McCutcheon, now up. Dodd is set back down.
Okay. We have not seen McCutcheon yet here in Cleburne. TJ Gieselbach's biggest hit of the tournament, 3-run homer to give St. Ed's the lead Thursday against Lubbock Christian, and made it 9-6. They would win 12-8. Rips it to left, base hit. Whitaker rounding third. Williams mishandles the ball. Probably wouldn't have mattered. St. Edwards leads. He doesn't have the number of hits as most of his teammates, but the biggest impact hits of this tournament have come from TJ Gieselbach.
He's also picked up 2 RBIs off the sac flies, which is why he's got 7 now.
Hilltoppers lead for the first time. Hunter Corson has walked twice. This time, Nelson gets ahead. Took a cut on an inside pitch right into the Hilltopper dugout. The word Todd Holland has used to best describe his team all year, certainly here in Cleburne, has been resilient. They have rallied from deficits throughout this tournament. They'll need to do it again. To right, base hit. Gieselbach on his way to third. He'll stand there, runners on the corners. Fourth hit of the inning.
Besides Gieselbach's single to left, Hilltoppers are doing what was successful yesterday and going the other way with the ball. Nelson's going to go outside on you, and a good job of hitting there by course and just going where the pitch was pitched.
Remember, Nelson threw over 40 pitches yesterday. Terrific until running into trouble here today in the 6th. Todd Holland keeps him in to face Troy Anderson, who's 1 for 2. Check swing foul. He had a 3-run homer to right in the 2nd inning yesterday to give his team a 4-1 lead. And that homer, of course, off of Nelson. 7th man to bat this inning. They're underway in San Angelo, and West Texas A&M a 3 spot in the first over the top seed Angelo State. Angelo State needs to win twice to win the Lone Star Tournament and perhaps host the NCAA Regional next week. To center, backpedaling is Pitchford underneath it to make the grab. But on the strength of 4 hits, including an RBI double by Gable Whitaker and an RBI single by T.J. Gieselbach to score Whitaker, the Hilltoppers lead 2-1 through 6. So St. Edwards with the 2 spot in the bottom of the 6th, leading 2-1. And even though we're in the top of the 7th, Rob Penders has gone to a defensive replacement already. Derek Ramos at 3rd, replacing Hunter Corson. Ramos Jr. from Hutto, Texas. That's just northeast of Austin, and a Temple Junior College transfer. Tanner Lawson on for his 7th inning of work, and a leadoff single allowed to Dion Williams, who is getting hot at the plate. 2 late hits last night, and that's a 2nd straight single off of Lawson. They were down 7-1 yesterday to St. Ed's. Immediately put up a 4 spot in the 4th. Down 3-0, giving up 3 in the 6th to Lubbock Christian last night. Then 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 8th to tie. They have been brilliant. Win behind. First pitch is high to the first baseman, Casey Cooper, who's 0 for 2. That's fouled into the St. Ed's dugout. Troy Anderson, the designated hitter, tried to barehand that baseball. He's all right. 1-1 count. A bunt. And there's a play at second. Lawson goes there. Williams out. Not only is that a big first out for the Hilltoppers, but you get some really good speed off the base paths.
Gutsy call there to go to second with it. It's going to be a bang-bang play there to try to get the speedy Williams. And with the pitcher fielding, but Lawson, give credit to him, able to bounce around and get that out. Huge play for the Hilltoppers.
Anthony Seminaris. A fine game last night in that 14-inning win over Lubbock Christian. Going 3 for 6. He's 0 for 2 today. He reached on an E5 in the 2nd on an errant throw by Hunter Corson, then tried to get to second base on that throw and was thrown out by the first baseman, Zach Schindler. Pop back foul.
That's the first foul ball that's been anywhere near the press box here.
The screen in front of us is not the tallest. We wondered if there'd be a chance that the ball would fall just above that screen. And close to us. I mean, none of us are feeling like Robert Duvall in The Natural. I don't think, a ball's going to hurt us, but I'd be a bit curious. 2-1 the count to Seminaris. Cooper's the runner on first and one out. Big cut. 2-2. St. Edwards wins this tournament. They would make the NCAA regionals for the 6th consecutive season. They made it to the College World Series in 2013. Tough play. Sliding is Alexander and gets the lead out at second. Heck of a play by the St. Edward shortstop.
Not only able to get there, but to able to get it to your feet and make a tough throw.
That's where it helps to have the turf where dirt would usually be in that part of the infield. Single, fielder's choice here in the 7th. Now 2 away for Pitchford.
Well, and also how he slid. You would think with dirt, he's going to have a glove full of dirt as well, so he's got to combat with that to try and get the ball out into second base.
0-2. Rob Pender's telling us this team reminds him of the 2013 team, which made the World Series, and that they came together late. In fact, it was under a month ago. Rob Penders said he finally saw his team grind through at bats like they hadn't in the first 2.5 months of the year. Since then, they have been red hot. Winners of 10 of 11 coming in, which I find interesting. It wasn't a win even. It was a walk-off loss to Texas A&M International after they had won the first 2 games in Laredo, where he said players were starting to foul off pitches and stay much more patient than they had been in the past. That, in addition to, as you said, Logan, the defense has never been great for St. Edwards this year. It was poor the first 2 months of the season. It has been decent since, but certainly not a team strength. 1-2 the count. To left and on a short pop, Alexander there to first in time. Well, Fort Smith beginning to get some good contact off Lawson, but his infield did the job there in the top of the 7th. We will stretch with St. Edwards needing 1 win to advance to the NCAA tournament, up 2-1. 2-1 St. Edwards, bottom of the 7th. Fort Smith goes to its bullpen. Nolan McCutcheon, senior lefty from Glenpool, Oklahoma, 2-0 record with a 2.21 ERA. This is his 13th appearance, 12th out of the pen, 20 in the third innings pitched. He's allowed 10 hits but 15 walks, though he has struck out 25, allowing 7 runs, 5 of them earned. He's also hit 5 batters, so control an issue for him, but able to strike out more than 1 an inning. Well, feast or famine. Austin Weaver was warming up. I believe that is Austin Weaver for St. Edwards. No, Jacob Vasquez, actually.
Hilltopper closer.
Yeah, he was warming up in the bullpen between innings, and then we had to wait for the first pitch as he ran back into the dugout. First pitch ball to Zach Schindler, who's over 2. Then we'll see the top of the order for St. Edwards. 2 in the 6th. Off of Fort Smith starter Tyler Nelson. It's giving the Hilltoppers this lead. That bounces away. Still 3-0 West Texas A&M over Angelo State in the second. RMAC Championship, Colorado Mesa, Colorado School of Mines, beginning in a half hour. If Angelo State loses that game to West Texas A&M and Mesa wins the RMAC, I think you're among a number of people I've talked to that think this NCAA regional next week is going to be back in Grand Junction for, what, the 4th straight year?
4th straight year.
Well, the win, whether it's blowing in or out, you'll see a lot of homers. 3-0 the count to Schindler. McCutcheon having trouble here to his first batter of the appearance. Four-pitch walk to begin the 7th. And already a conference on the mound. So obviously Fort Smith needs McCutcheon to throw strikes. Fort Smith got its run in the 4th on a solo homer by Logan Allen. Besides that, 2 singles from Dion Williams. The only hits off St. Edward's starter, Tanner Lawson. St. Edward's 7 hits, including 4 in that 2-run 6th. No surprise, there is activity in that Fort Smith pen. Really, the only pitcher not available for this one is Nicky Awning, the Fort Smith closer, after going 8 2/3 last night and getting the win in that 4-3 14-inning affair with Lubbock Christian. Top of the order now on William Hairston, who's 1 for 3 with a single. Strike call. Already showing bunt. Takes the breaking ball for a strike. Good pitch. Big cut. Hairston goes down swinging. To your point, you mentioned how this was more of a small ball team in the past, where maybe you would have seen Hairston try to lay down that bunt with the 1-run lead. But Rob Penders has given his players the green light to swing away in that situation. Jacob Vasquez singled and scored in the 6th.
Well, with 1 strike, Harrison did square around.
Right.
Pulled back, and it was a called strike. So maybe he took himself out of that sacrifice bunt situation.
Strike call.
Vasquez, who was seeing the ball well out of Nelson's hand, now with the new pitcher, we'll see how he fares.
Vasquez 1 for 3 in this game, came in batting .298.
2-2. Romeo Cortina on deck. Foul ground. Cooper giving it a run out of your picture, and it bounces just in front of him. So he made a sliding effort for it. Near where the berm starts to jet out closer to the field. It's now 4-0 West Texas A&M. Top 2 in San Angelo. Fort Smith taking 2 of 3 at West Texas A&M in early April, which got their late season run started. Play at second, nicely done by Duncan. Schindler forced out 6-4. Vasquez reaches, but there's 2 away. And here is Romeo Cortina, the MVP of last year's Heartland Conference tournament, which was in Belton, about an hour north of Austin. St. Edwards was the top seed in that tournament. The 4 seed here, looking to win the tournament crown again. Six hits in the tournament for Cortina. He's 1 for 3 today. Came in batting .375. On base percentage close to .450. Big cut, 1-1. Strike called. So after the 4-pitch walk to Schindler, McCutcheon's calmed down. He's 1 strike away from keeping the score 2-1. Diving stop, Warner on a hop and into the glove of Cooper in time. Third tremendous defensive play by the Fort Smith third baseman. Probably saved a run as Vasquez was going with 2 outs. Still 2-1 Hilltoppers through 7. St. Edwards possibly 6 outs away from a Heartland Conference tournament title. But Fort Smith, they've been coming back all tournament long, and they start at the top of the 8th with Brennan Dooley. 7, 8, and 9 due up, and that is lifted to left. Back is Gieselbach under it and makes the grab in left center. For a moment, you wondered if that would carry out.
Well, Gieselbach was drifting back and kept drifting. The wind has died down. It's calm out there in right field, so did not have the wind blowing out to left there, so stayed in the park.
Dylan Hurd 0 for 2 today, but 5 for 12 here in Cleburne. Brendan Warner follows. Into the glove of Ramos, 2 away. So far, Tanner Lawson, starter number 4 throughout the late part of the season for St. Edwards, has just allowed the solo shot to Logan Allen in 7 2/3. Brandon Warner 0 for 2. Just 2 for 13 in this tournament, but with 3 runs batted in. And today, 3 tremendous defensive stops. Trying to get a 2-out rally going for Fort Smith. And they're for a strike. If Fort Smith loses this one, can they leapfrog Kingsville for maybe that final at-large berth to the regionals next week? Be an interesting call with the regional committee, which is tonight. They want to come back here and then win another one. I could get it started. 2-out single to left. Warner on for the first time. 4th hit off Lawson. There is no activity right now in the St. Edwards pen. And now Logan Allen up. Solo homer in the 4th. Again, the only run for Fort Smith so far today. And before the first pitch, conference on the mound. It's Jonathan Burns, pitching coach, coming in. Jacob Vasquez, as this goes on, you can see it on your screen. Now, he has 2 saves on the year and is the Hilltopper closer. He's actually warming up. But instead of in the bullpen, playing the role of catcher is Zach Schindler. And, of course, before the bottom half of the 7th inning, Vasquez was warming up in the bullpen for a minute. This is a long conference. And actually now, Burns is pointing to Vasquez, who will come to the mound.
Well, Vasquez, in his first 8 appearances on the season, did not allow a run. The only run was a walk-off home run at International in the bottom of the 9th.
And so the day is done for Tanner Lawson, and he'll get a huge hand, deservedly so, from his team and from the St. Edwards fans here. He allows 4 hits in 7 2/3 innings. Right now, just the 1 run on that solo shot to Logan Allen. The Warner is his responsibility at first base. We'll take a timeout. Jacob Vasquez trying to close this out for St. Ed's and give them the Heartland Conference title. So Vasquez comes from second base to the mound. Matthew DeSalvo is the new second baseman, sophomore from New Orleans. Logan Allen at the plate. The numbers for Vasquez are excellent. He is 0-1, but he's just allowed 1 earned run in 10 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. 2 saves on the season. Logan went around.
The count is 1-1. Runner at first is Brandon Warner. Go-ahead run at the plate in Logan Allen. Runner going, and the pitch bounces away from Whitaker. Stolen base because Warner was going on the pitch, and now the tying run in scoring position in a 2-1 count. Allen, freshman of the year in the Heartland Conference. 8 hits in Cleburne the past 3 days. To right. Moving back, Cortina. Under it, makes the grab. Tying run left on second. Hilltoppers looking for insurance when we return. 2-1 St. Edwards. Nolan McCutcheon back on for Fort Smith as the Hilltoppers look for some insurance. Gable Whitaker's RBI double tied it in the 6th. His run off an RBI single by the third man up this inning, TJ Gieselbach, gave the Hilltoppers the lead. 2-1. Hilltoppers out hitting the Lions 7-4. David Salzman alongside Logan Lawrence on Championship Saturday here in Cleburne. 2-0 the count. Now. Due up in the 9th for Fort Smith, Drew Duncan, Dion Williams, Casey Cooper. Williams, 2 hits today, 2 hits late last night. Casey Cooper has come up big for the Lions here in this tournament. 4-pitch walk to lead off the 8th, much like Zach Schindler had a 4-pitch walk to lead off the 7th.
We'll see if the Hilltoppers can get the bunt down this time. William Harrison unable to do that in his at-bat with Schindler at first.
Blake Alexander's 0 for 3 today, but 3 for 11 with 4 runs, 3 RBIs here at the tournament. And right, no question, you think he should lay that bunt down with T.J. Gieselbach, who's come up big today and came up huge on Thursday in the on-deck circle. Pulls back, strike call. It's still 5-0 West Texas A&M over Angelo State. They're through 2 in San Angelo. Mesa and Mines getting underway in just over 10 minutes. There's the bunt. Maybe a play at second. No, just the play to first, and it's an errant throw. McCutcheon airmails it over Cooper's head. Alexander is safe on the sac E1. Todd Holland comes out and will make a pitching change.
instead of first, or rather just a runner on second, one out, first and second, nobody out, as the Hilltoppers look for some insurance. 2-1, St. Ed's needing just one win today to become tournament champs. Corbin Polley is the new pitcher for UAFS. Junior right-hander from Cedarville, Arkansas. Oral Roberts transfer. On the season, Polley 2-1, an ERA of 3.80. This is his 15th appearance of the year. 23 and 2/3 innings pitched, allowing 10 runs all earned, 23 hits, 12 walks, and 12 strikeouts. He's the third pitcher for Arkansas Fort Smith today. Taking over for Nolan McCutcheon. Tyler Nelson went 6+, allowing 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. This is the third time that we've seen Polley here at the Heartland Conference Tournament. First 2 appearances, 2 and 2/3 innings, allowing 1 run. His job, obviously, is to keep the score as is. Hilltoppers threatening with a walk and then an E1 on a sacrifice bunt attempt by Alexander, allowing him to reach.
Now with Gieselbach at the plate, arguably the most valuable player at this point, do you bunt the runners over to second and third with nobody out, with one of your hottest hitters?
That's a good question. His RBI single gave St. Ed's the lead in the 6th, scoring Gable Whitaker, who is right now at second base. 3-run blast to left Thursday gave the Hilltoppers a 9-6 lead over Lubbock Christian. They would win 12-8. I'm going to guess bunt. No, swinging away. So hot enough. Rob Pender says, I'll take my chances at you not moving the runners over.
Always a possibility. Said, TJ, I'll give you one pitch.
Now, Derek Ramos is on deck as the defensive replacement for Hunter Corson, and Ramos this season at the plate, 2 for 8. Maybe also factoring in that decision. Strike call, 0-2. And he pokes it into right, a base hit. Whitaker will hold at third. Bases loaded. The single on the 0-2 count. That's just a hot hitter. Few pitchers here at this tournament have been able to solve. TJ Gieselbach. It seems like he has more than 4 hits here at the tournament, but he's at 4 now. But it seems like they've all come in big moments. Infield plays in, with there being no outs and the bases loaded. Strike to Derek Ramos. As mentioned, he's 2 for 8 on the season at the plate with 3 walks. Oh, 2. Play at home. Cooper, the force out there. 3-2 the put out. Whitaker forced out. Alexander to third. Gieselbach to second. Matthew DeSalvo was up. St. Edwards took the DH off when they put Vasquez on the mound. DeSalvo, the second baseman. On the season, DeSalvo 1 for 11. 0-1 count. Showing bunt and headed back to third quickly was Alexander. He was lucky that pitch was low.
I wonder if the squeeze play was on there because of how he took off.
Yeah, he was lucky that pitch was pretty low, and Hurt was unable to really control it in time to make a throw back to third. The count is 1-1. Late swing, 1-2. Middle infielders, of course, now in double play depth with 1 out. Called strike 3. That's a risk you take. Ramos and DeSalvo, not a lot of at-bats this season, but they're on the field mainly for defensive purposes. Ramos in for Corson. DeSalvo at second after Vasquez comes to the mound. And back-to-back outs from those 2 young men. Well, Ramos at first, but on the fielder's choice.
And since you bring Vasquez in to pitch, you lose the DH. So Troy Anderson would have been up with the bases loaded there.
Now Zach Schindler, 0 for 2 with a walk. Tough play. Too late at second. Run scores.
That's going to be an infield single there. Just perfect placement by Schindler.
3-1 Hilltoppers. Alexander scores. Schindler gets the RBI. Drew Duncan did a good job just getting to that baseball. Otherwise, maybe a second run would have scored. Sometimes when you're going to win it all, you need plays like that. Not a hard hit ball, but perfectly placed. And now William Hairston, who's 1 for 4 with a single. High strike, 0-1. That runner's unearned because of the E1 on McCutcheon earlier this inning. 0-2 now. Corbin Polley was so close to getting out of the jam in. Delivered a good pitch. Just placed in the right spot by Schindler. To second, Dooley. But the Hilltoppers get a key insurance run. Fort Smith needs 2 to tie. Hilltoppers looking to take home the Heartland Conference Tournament Championship when we come back.
So here we go. St. Edwards with 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th, a 3-1 lead. And Fort Smith down to its final 3 outs. They will be sweating it out tomorrow. Still a chance at an at-large berth if they're unable to come back. Drew Duncan, first pitch strike. The Fort Smith shortstop is 0 for 3. Jacob Vasquez on to try to get the 4-out save. Dion Williams on deck. Right into the glove of Blake Alexander. 1 out.
The most important out is the first one. Leadoff hitter not on base. Vasquez gets the line out.
Fans, whenever this tournament ends, we will bring you the trophy presentation and presentation of the all-tournament team. So even when we're done here, stay with us for that. Hilltoppers hope that's in just a few minutes. But here's Dion Williams singling his last 2 times up. Still on 30 extra base hits for the season. So he does not have an extra base hit here in Cleburne. He is 5 for 21. That's ripped to right and off the wall. Bounces away from Cortina for the moment. Williams, his team down 2, doesn't try to stretch it to 3, but there's the elusive extra base hit, and the tying run will come to the plate.
That's the first time we've seen Williams just sit in there and lock in on the ball. He's been out in front of a lot of things. He does have a couple of hits this game.
Casey Cooper with a big home run in last night's come-from-behind win against Lubbock Christian. Representing the tying run, he is 0 for 3 in this game. 3 of 14 with that home run here at the tournament. No activity at all in the Hilltopper pen. Breaking ball low. Third baseman Ramos close to the line trying to prevent the extra base hit. Big cut. Looking to tie it there. Count is 1-1 with 1 out. Seminaris, the designated hitter, is on deck. Oh, it hit him. Tying run now at first. Go-ahead run comes to the plate.
Right between the shoulders.
And now, out comes St. Edward's pitching coach, Jonathan Burns. Again, there's been no activity in the Hilltopper pen. This is just likely to give Vasquez a breather.
I mean, obviously, the Lions are looking for that big hit. The Hilltoppers only need a ground ball. Could be 2 there, and that'll be the championship.
Worth repeating, Fort Smith's ability to come back in this one. Rallying last night for the win over Lubbock Christian in 14 innings. And even making it a game against St. Edwards yesterday after the Hilltoppers were up 6 early. So here we go. Anthony Seminaris is 0 for 3. First pitch in there for a strike. 3 for 14 with an RBI here in Cleburne. Check swing. Appeal to first. And he did go around, says Jason Whitehead. Count is 0-2.
That pitch, borderline strike right there. Or borderline ball. But called a strike on the swing.
Jace Pitchford on deck. Check swing again. This time he did hold up, no appeal.
3-1 St. Ed's. 2 outs away from a tournament crown. Double play will end it. Extra base hit may tie it. To left, Gieselbach. Lions down to their final out. A team that had not clinched a spot here in Cleburne until the final weekend of the regular season is 1 out away from a dog pile. Jace Pitchford, the Fort Smith center fielder, 0 for 3 today. 3 for 17 here at the tournament. One and 0. Williams at second doubled. Cooper at first was hit by a pitch. To left, Gieselbach. The Hilltoppers on top of the Heartland Conference again, tournament champions.
One of the best moments in sports, the dog pile at the pitching mound.
And how fitting that the man with the game-winning hit and likely to be the most valuable player of this tournament makes the catch for the final out in T.J. Gieselbach. For Fort Smith, they leave to their best seasons since joining NCAA Division II, and hopefully not their final game of the season. They will have to sweat it out, rank 6th in the region coming into Cleburne, and likely it is either them or Texas A&M Kingsville, the final team from the region, at the NCAA tournament next week. They shake hands on the field. St. Edwards a 3-1 victory over Arkansas at Fort Smith. Fort Smith a great season, and again, hopefully it continues. And for St. Edwards, this is now 11 of 12, playing hot obviously at the perfect time, and a threat for sure next week, wherever the regionals will be.
Absolutely, the 4 seed coming in and taking care of business in 3 straight games. You can't say enough about the job that head coach Rob Penders has done with this squad to rally late in the season and win the games when needed, and then we'll get in the tournament and see what happens. And what happens, 3 straight wins, and the Hilltoppers are going to the South Central Regional for the 6th straight year.
That's amazing. Now, sometimes you see maybe 1-2 players become maybe the biggest heroes. This was a team effort. You had 22 runs in the first 2 wins. Obviously, this more of a pitcher's duel. And Tanner Lawson, the number 4 starter for St. Edwards, tremendous 7 2/3 innings getting the win.
Absolutely. He started it off as one of the weekend starters in the top 3, worked his way to the bullpen, and then now back and a big game pitcher right there. Tanner Lawson gets the win. Vasquez with the save.
So St. Edwards will represent the Heartland Conference as tournament champions in the NCAA tournament next week. We figure Lubbock Christian will be there. Hopefully Fort Smith will be there as well, as Rob Penders gets the Gatorade shower. And you mentioned 6th straight year, his Hilltoppers will go on to the NCAA tournament. Fans, don't go anywhere. In just about 5 minutes, we'll have the presentation of the tournament championship trophy to St. Edwards, plus the announcement of the all-tournament team. But it's St. Edwards celebrating a tournament title. They defeat Fort Smith 3-1.
And now here is the presentation of the tournament trophy and the all-tournament team.
From Lubbock Christian, pitcher Daniel Crooks. From the University of Arkansas Fort Smith, pitcher Nick Young. From St. Edward's, pitcher Tanner Lawson.
So the pitchers on the all-tournament team, Tanner Lawson, the winner today for St. Edwards, Nick Yawning, the winner last night for Fort Smith, and Daniel Crooks from Lubbock Christian. Gable Whitaker at catcher.
From the University of Arkansas Fort Smith, infielder Casey Cooper. From St. Mary's, infielder James Glee. From Lubbock Christian, infielder Jaime Bustamante. From St. Edward's, infielder Javier Vasquez.
Javier Vasquez, Jaime Bustamante, James Galeen, Casey Cooper, the infielders. And Vasquez got the save today.
From St. Edward's, outfielder Romeo Cortina. From the University of Arkansas Fort Smith, outfielder Logan Allen. From St. Edward's, outfielder William Hairston.
William Hairston, Romeo Cortina for St. Ed's, Logan Allen for Fort Smith, the all-tournament outfielders.
From St. Edward's, designated hitter Troy Anderson.
Troy Anderson, a DH. And now for the MVP.
And your tournament most valuable player from St. Edward's, TJ Gieselbach.
TJ Gieselbach, winning hits Thursday and on championship Saturday. Your tournament most valuable player.
Congratulations to the 2017 Heartland Baseball All-Tournament Team.
Now the presentation of tournament runners-up and the tournament championship hardware. But you can't do that until you take a picture of the all-tournament team just beyond home plate. 3-1, St. Edwards the victory over Fort Smith, taking the Heartland Conference Tournament Championship. And first, Fort Smith, the runners-up, will be honored.
And now, the 2017 tournament runner-up in the Heartland Conference, the Lions of the University of Arkansas Fort Smith.
Before St. Edwards is presented, you may see the players putting on the T-shirts that simply state Heartland Conference champion. St. Edwards, the 4 seed, a perfect 3-0.
2017 Heartland Conference Baseball Tournament champions, the Hilltoppers of St. Edwards University.
Now Rob Penders and his team will hold up the tournament hardware. As they take the pitcher at home plate, again, we know St. Edwards will represent the Heartland Conference in the NCAA tournament next week as tournament champs. In the Lone Star Conference, it'll be West Texas A&M or Angelo State, though both expected to get into the tournament anyway. And in the RMAC, Colorado Mesa expected to get into the tournament regardless of the results today, but they have to lose twice to Colorado School of Mines. And one final celebration around home plate. Again, the best wishes to the Lions of Arkansas Fort Smith, and best of luck to them. We will see tomorrow whether they are selected as an at-large participant in the NCAA tournament. Same to Lubbock Christian, of course, who's expected to get in. And finally, a thanks to all of you for joining us. This has been a tremendous event in this new facility, the Depot at Cleburne Station here in Cleburne, Texas. We expect to be next year for the 2018 Heartland Conference Tournament. And hopefully it'll be as exciting as the one that we had this year. But it was the 4-seed St. Edwards, 3-0, including 2 wins over Arkansas Fort Smith, on their way to becoming Heartland Conference Tournament champions. Good luck to the Hilltoppers. Good luck to the Chaparrals, and hopefully good luck to the Fort Smith Lions if they're able to get in to the NCAA tournament next week. Thanking everyone who helped us out. My broadcast partner, Logan Lawrence. Also, Brandon Tripp, Media Relations Director of the Heartland Conference. And, of course, again, a thanks to all of you for being with us for these last 3 days. Congratulations to the St. Edwards Hilltoppers Heartland Conference Tournament champions. My name is David Salzman. So long from Cleburne.